Welcome back to the Irish Mags Show. It is episode 96, coming back to your podcast feeds a little bit later than usual. There are rumours going around that Krisha went on strike. There are rumours going around that Alan was in charge of making sure the podcast was correctly recorded and uploaded. It didn't happen. I think the blame lies with me because I was otherwise engaged. But here we are, back with episode 96, a little bit earlier this week or late for last week, depending on how you look at it. Glass half full, glass half empty. But of course, my name is Paul. I'll be your host, and I am joined by what we've just been discussing as my two best friends in the whole world. Not. It is Alan and Chris Show. I think, lads, you're the best friends of each other. We'll just go with that.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. No. I really hope don't have to be best friends, guys. Do we? We could just be friends.
Yes.
We could be friends, right?
All
All right. This is completely unplanned and not on topic of anything we discussed, lads. But I'm trying to think who were the best friends that ever played for Newcastle. I remember Kevin Nolan taking Andy Carroll under his wing when Andy Carroll was a bit.
Gary Speed and Shay Given were best friends, weren't they?
Nice. Okay. Who else? I'm trying to think. I know Shearer and Ruud Hullet got on very well, famously.
Do you remember, was it Wilson, Richie, and someone else? I can't remember what. Remember, it was the video. It was Richie going to Bournemouth. No, we're bringing Bournemouth to Richie. I think it was when we signed Kelly, maybe. Someone who we signed.
Fraser.
Sorry.
Fraser. That little guy.
Fraser, yeah.
Where
all
did he
the
go?
former Bournemouth lads.
Where did he go?
Let us know.
Loan to Southampton, and then is still at Southampton, being a septic bastard up there instead, or down there instead.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
That didn't end well. We'll see if the podcast ends well today. As we get through a few important topics, we are going to just reflect back on Nottingham Forest, mainly because we need to talk and I need to hear about what happened on the Irish Mags away day down in Tipperary. At least one person on this show this week was in attendance, and we're only going to get his version of events. We will be looking for other versions in the comments, folks. If you were there, I want to hear exactly what transpired. Then we'll move on to some other topics in the Newcastle United community. It is international break, but as usual, there have been various rumors, meltdowns, commotions all over social media on a few important events. And finally, as we come to the end of the international break, the less we say about it, the better from an Ireland point of view, because we've been disappointed once again. We could talk about Newcastle playing football again, lads, because it feels like it's been a little while. And not one, but two games in, 4 days, effectively? 3-4 days. So not only is football returning, but it's going to return with a bang. And let's hope that we're ready for it. The Irish Mag Show is proudly sponsored by The Half Volley, providers of high-quality, customizable clothing and merchandise catering for all sports teams, businesses, social clubs and events, with access to thousands of product types available with immediate delivery on the majority of all products, depending on location. Run by our own Scott Fitzpatrick from the Irish Mags community, The Half Volley are the official partner for all Irish Mags merchandise, and their new range has already been showcased at multiple meetups and games throughout the season so far. Irish Mags Show listeners can now avail of an exclusive member discount. Use code IrishMagsShow, all capital letters, at checkout. For any queries, email scott@thehalfvolley.com, follow @the_halfvolley on Instagram, or visit thehalfvolley.com for more information. Let's kick off. Go on. We'll have to go to Chris Show on this one, I think.
Oh, wow.
There was an away day. There was an Irish Mags away day. The first of the season, I suppose, technically. Down in Tipperary. Chris Show, first of all, were you allowed cross the border of the county of Tipperary and enter said county?
I did, but I didn't realize. They say it's a long way to Tipperary. No, it isn't. It's one stop. It's past Portlaoise and then it's Thurles. Early start, Houston Station. Smells of piss, but just get past that bit. Buy a very expensive sandwich, meet the guys, get on the train, mid-conversation. Frankly, because Ted likes to talk a lot, we nearly missed Thurles, to be frank with you, because we were kind of looking at the window going, wait, oh, shit, oh, hang on, whoop, that's Thurles, we better get off. Whew, that was lucky, because it just would have cracked onto Cork. But it was over in, it was an hour and 10 or hour and 15 minutes or something. Got off, obviously, an hour early before the pubs open. Some pubs don't open till 2. This pub, luckily, County Bar, opened at 12:30. Everyone was at mass, I assume. There was nobody in the streets. A couple of very filthy, dirty cars driving around. I'm assuming they drove through farms to get into the town.
Alan, he's never been to the country before, has he?
No, he absolutely
Oh,
he's
come on.
never left the big smoke. That's what's going on there.
Wow, hang on. I am from the country, everybody.
No, you are from Greystones. That's as close to Dublin as you can possibly be. Like that's the posh part of Dublin. Not even like Dublin-esque. That's just the posh Dubliner. That's all you are.
Look, anyway, look, let's move past that for a second, okay? So look,
Right.
I popped over to Ladbrokes.
Right.
Hey,
let's
guys,
not think about the dirty cars. Kevin, don't look at them, okay? We'll just walk straight past.
Guys, seriously, guys. So we went out. I saw Ladbrokes was open. I got 6-1 on 2-0, 9-1.
Gamble responsibly.
On 3-1. Gamble responsibly, of course. I picked 3-1. I knew I should have went for 2-0. God damn it. Put a tenner, thought it was skip the day. Went into a coffee shop called Deja Brew, which I thought was very clever. The population of Thurles was in it, and everyone was munching down on massive muffins and weird cookies and really expensive coffee. And I thought, let's all join in. So we did. There's nobody around yet. It got to 12:30. The county bar was closed. Oh man, it's gonna open at 2 p.m. This is ridiculous. 12:32, a young girl opens the door from the inside out, and I was like, there we are, lads, because we were standing outside like a bunch of alcoholics, and I just followed her in behind her with my hat on and my big dark jacket and scared the sweet bejesus out of her. I said, sorry, are you open? And she's like, oh my God.
Crucio, looks like you were scaring a lot of people in there because somehow you managed to just get on the stage straight away. How did this happen?
I found the stage, and you know me and the stage dudes. I was like, yes, there's a stage. I tried to do a halftime show with Tev. He was having none of it, but they have a cool stage down there. Really, really nice atmosphere. And I thought, I will have a couple of guys in anyway. We started off with 6 or 7, and then just drift after drift. Every 5 minutes, there was more people from Kilkenny, Waterford, Cork, obviously Thurles, Niall. Big shout out to Niall. He made us his mum made us some lovely ham and cheese sandwiches for halftime, and he handed them around. The food at halftime was beautiful as well. Thanks to everybody down the county bar. It was really lovely. We couldn't get drunk. I tried my best. Tev tried his best. We all, Hainsey and his missus, tried their best. We just couldn't get drunk because there was too much food.
I have voice notes and messages to disprove that claim.
Well,
just going to point that out there.
Well, okay, maybe I was initially a bit tipsy, and then the chicken goujons got me out of there. But it was really nice setup. They were very lovely. The head bar guy or the owner was very pleased that there was so many of us. I think I counted 20. Yeah, that's not everybody that was there. There was about 20 guys down there. We had the crack almighty. Very, very nice place down there. It's not too far away, and I'd look forward to going down there again. I had such a good time. They're really nice folk down there. And big shout out to Damien and Niall and everybody that was down there. Right good crack. And the great thing about it for me anyway, and again, smoke responsibly. There's a smoking area just out to just right beside in a kind of an alleyway by the bar, but they had TVs outside as well with sound, so nice. You could just hang out there. Right chats with everybody. Very knowledgeable crew down in the Midlands about Newcastle. They've obviously been supporting them just as long as I have. Lol. But they know what they're talking about. Right, proper, interesting discussions at halftime. Because let's be frank, guys, it was a droll first half. Yeah. Really boring. We nearly fell asleep. But yeah, we got the win, and then we kind of decided: are we going to stay later, or are we going to go a little bit earlier? Because to be honest with you, we were full up to here, so we got a little bit of an earlier train journey back up. But it was crack almighty, and look forward to the next one's in Sligo.
Never have happened if I was there. Going home early was not happening on my watch now, Chris.
No, it was a Sunday though. Come on, it was a Saturday, might be a different story, but it was a Sunday, lads. And it was like,
can I just give out for a second in case you didn't notice? The new flag popped up.
Oh yes,
the new flag that I designed. I argued with Tev, we need to get this one made. It's so funny. We need to get this done. It's so funny. And he's like, fine, I'll get it done. I always collect the flags. The first funny flag we do in a while, he doesn't tell me, goes, collects it himself and brings it away when I'm the person that looks after the flag. So Tev, you're listening. Fuck you.
You know what he did? Wow. Joey did as soon as he got there, he took it out of the bag and he threw it at me and said, Chris, new flag. And I went, oh, well, look at that. And then he took a photograph as if he was just about to text it to Al and go, Crisho's got your new flag there.
That's exactly what I did get.
Tevin,
my God.
Tevin Fareed, you've just been called out by Alan Williamson. Literally, come get me, come fight me, bro.
Thanks, Tev. Thanks for dropping me in it with Al.
Might be some fireworks at the next meet up in the Bleaker if both Alan and Tev are in attendance. Chris, I'll expect you to be refereeing.
I tell you what, lads, those ham and cheese sandwiches made by Niall's mum were delicious. And then putting the chips in the ham and cheese sandwich and yum, we were munching all for half time because we didn't have much to talk about because the game was so poor. But anyway, look, great crack. Look forward to it. Al, I think the next one might be or is Sligo away day.
It is looking like it's Sligo in November for West Ham.
West Ham is what's being talked about.
Yes,
West Ham and
more
cheese.
to follow as we
as we talk. Big Nick Valtamada has just scored his first goal for Germany against Northern Ireland.
Nice.
Yes. Well, off the mark.
Big Nick Valtamada must be listening to the pod in one ear because that's the best segue I've ever had over to what has since been heralded as one of the best / wildest / riskiest / most unique penalties that the Premier League has ever seen. I was listening, I think it was maybe one of the Athletic podcasts or the Totally Football Show. And, one of the guys on it was saying, I've seen a lot of penalties and I've not seen a penalty like this in terms of the technique, the connection with the ball, where the ball struck, the pace, his stance, everything about it, Alan, was quite unique and different. But what I found weird was a lot of people were saying, as he kicked it, they thought he'd ballooned it. But for me, I was like, bang. There was no part of me as I watched that penalty live that ever thought that wasn't going straight in. I don't know what that was. Maybe it's just my optimistic nature. But a lot of commentary was that as soon as he connected with the ball and you saw the trajectory that it was going over until it literally hits the roof of the net. But it is a unique pen.
Oh, it's a penalty that you tell somebody not to take. I've taken enough penalties in my life, and my mantra is low and hard, make the keeper dive for it, get into the corner. This thing was into the roof of the tip top corner. Mental. He no follow through after he connected with the ball as well.
Yeah, it just kind of it's like he cuts over the ball, almost crosses his legs, cutting over the water.
Yeah,
it's a wild technique.
It's also the first penalty ever nominated for Premier League goal of the season or goal of the month.
I did not know that.
There's a fact for you. Yeah.
Well, if ever everybody needs to, when that comes on Twitter, if it hasn't already, Toon Polls will be doing what we do because that needs to be voted.
I think it's not a public vote anymore because of Toon Polls and others. Of Toon Polls. Yeah.
We're massive wherever we go. I'd be surprised, Crisho, if Bruno Guimaraes' strike isn't also nominated for goal of the month because that was an absolute banger and I roared the house down when he scored that. A mix of relief and also what a fucking hit, son. And Bruno's having a good week between international duty and scoring, obviously, for Newcastle and winning the penalty as well, I believe.
I discussed it last week on the non-pod that, was it a foul? Al was jumped straight in and said, absolutely not, wasn't a foul. He got the ball. The one Notts Forest player made a meal of it. And then
this was the Bruno. He's
not talking about the penalty here. He's talking about Bruno winning the ball off Gibbs.
When Bruno won the ball, but it's a good one because I heard they were literally debating it. Like there was a Sky Sports tweet, should this have been a goal? And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. There's zero foul here.
It did look a bit clumsy though, did it not?
Because he clatters into him in what is a man's game against a fella as big, if not bigger than him. Gets the ball, wins the ball, muscles him off it, and it looks like.
I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry. That's
because Gibbs White is weak.
Sorry, 1 second, Paul. Sorry, it's not a man's game. It's for everybody. Just so we're
clear. When two men are playing it, it's a game for when they are both on the field, men against men, right? This is my point.
Right.
This is two professional athletes going up against each other, and Gibbs White has gone. Was it Gibbs White? Wasn't it? I think he's gone far too easily for an England international. Bruno's just muscled him out of it. Wins the ball.
If that's a foul, there's 150 fouls a game. Every single tackle's a foul. If that's a foul,
okay,
it's coming together.
Who's good at maths? Because the new offer is 13 million annual salary divided by 12, so that's 1.1 million.
1.25 million a week.
A month.
Well, 1.125 million a week, wouldn't it be?
No, a month.
Sorry, a month.
So that's what.
It's a lot. It's a lot more money than we'll get.
It's 400,000 they've offered him, right, for the new contract. 400,000.
No, 200. It'd be 200. It sounds like it's over 200k a week. But again, we need to question where that number is coming from. Is it pounds, euros, dollars, or what? Because
why would we be offering Bruno a new contract? He got a new one last year. Tonali, Tino, Botman. There's 6 players that need contracts before Tonali or before Bruno. So he is the least of my worries at the minute, because he actually loves the club and he's not going anywhere. And I also I also don't think anybody really needs him at the minute. I hate saying stuff like that, but I don't think any club out there really need him other than us. Obviously,
there are clubs that need him, but they're not better than us.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Good. No. Just
I heard that there was a new contract going around. It did quote that it would make him the highest paid player. He's already the highest paid player, so I wouldn't be kind of looking too much into that. I think, as Alan said, there's other work to do. But equally, if he was to get an extra year or two, I don't think anyone would complain. No. He's so important for us in terms of the stats he racks up.
Or sell him and get Anderson back. I'm just saying, don't shoot me. Don't give out, Al. Don't give out to me, Al. Oh my God. Oh no, I just have to say stuff. I'm sorry. I used to do this before. I used to just say stuff whenever I felt it.
What do you mean? Why is he saying this in the past tense, Alan? He does this every single week.
Yeah, he's a wreck the head. Anderson's a very good player.
Let's take it. Let's take this and blend it, Alan, because this is something we had on the list. And Chris was just accelerating us through. He wants a short podcast tonight. He's got no alcohol on him. But there's certain things going around. We've heard there's rumors of the Bruno contract. There are some random Twitter accounts saying that Juventus are going to come in for Sandro Tonali. Even today, it was talks of a swap deal for Tejan Koopmeiners. Totally just random. Let's just pick a similar player who plays in the midfield. Tonali himself quashing the rumors. And, of course, all the things about Elliot Anderson, because he's obviously killing it for England. Even though Forest are playing shit at the moment, he's still playing very well for them, was their player of the month. Let's bring all these things together. Bruno, new contract. Rumors of Tonali leaving, and probably a lot of, I suppose, still upset fans because we lost Elliot Anderson, and now he's almost one of the first names on the England team sheet, which is wild.
Right. Bruno contract, bullshit. Okay. Tonali going back to Italy, also bullshit. No Italian club can afford him. I'm sorry. Unless they're giving us Koopmeiners and 100 million. Not happening. Anderson. Very, 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 very good player. Unbelievable player. But does not get into our midfield. If we sign him, Miley starts losing minutes. Ramsey starts losing minutes. We don't need a 6th choice midfielder of that caliber. You need a young, up-and-coming midfielder, which he no longer is. He is the there and now. He doesn't displace Tonali. He doesn't displace Bruno. He doesn't displace Joelinton. The players that we need to sign, as in the Anderson, has to be a replacement for Joelinton. Has to be someone, either a monster who will go around kicking people like Joelinton but not break down as often, because Joelinton has missed half of the games of the last 2 seasons, or it has to be someone who's ultra creative and really, really needs to bring us to the next echelon of football. Elliot Anderson doesn't do that. Elliot Anderson is a fantastic footballer. He's the Jordi Maradona. He's absolutely brilliant. He is not what we need, unfortunately.
Chris Shaw.
Yeah. Okay.
Opportunity. I'll give you an opportunity to counter argue, right? And here's my quick take on it that I'd like to bring you in on. For me, with the amount of games we're playing, if we're going to continue playing 50 games a season, random number, let's throw it there. Joelinton is not going to play 50 games a season, right? No. Bruno and Tonali probably can get close. Joelinton won't. And for me, Anderson is a natural replacement for Joelinton if we're going to keep things the same. We've talked about it before. Ramsey is different, more creative, gives you different tactical options. But let's just say we live in a world where, as of right now, we're only 7 games in, but the Premier League table reads Nottingham Forest 17th in the league on 5 points, 1 point clear of Burnley. If Forest were to get relegated under Ange Postecoglou or whomever, which would be delicious, then, Chris Shaw, I think Alan might feel differently, and there's an opportunity to go, right, well, we'll give you a bit more than what you gave us.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any clauses buried in there, but surely it would be foolish for us not to go in for him, considering he's one of ours.
I love Joelinton. I love him. I have him on the back of my new jersey for this season, but he is, I wouldn't say fast becoming, but very consistently becoming a slight bit of a liability. He's clattering and he's roaming around and he's shaking fists and being very argumentative and protective. I love the guy for it, but we're starting to become a very, very serious football club looking at trophies now. He's done well. He's turned the corner. He's become a powerhouse of a midfielder. I think and I believe that we are looking for his replacement, very much so, coming up either in January or at the end of the season. Don't think that Anderson obviously is a like-for-like replacement for Joelinton, but if Eddie Howe could get his hands on Anderson, he would do it quicker than I can say fucking ice cream. He would do it now, this second, and he would pay 50 to 60 to 65 million pounds. And again, he's not worth that, but he never wanted to let him go. We're all clear that none of the fans did either. The fact that he's turned into Jordi Maradona and really shown it down in Forest and for England, although it's not hard to look good in England midfield, it's something that I think, and I think with the experience he's getting at Notts Forest in 2 years' time, he's going to be a ready-made guy to step into our midfield. So at the end of the season, maybe in the summer next season, he's a ready-made guy to come in and play for Newcastle United as a starter. I don't know what that midfield will consist of. You know, I hope Bruno and Tonali are still there, and Joelinton understands that by then Joelinton would be what, 31 or something. That Anderson's what, 24. I really do think I can see this one happening, lads. I really can. Rather than Paul Gascoigne heading off to Spurs and never coming back, I can see Anderson turning around and coming back. And
that's a good point, though, in terms of it's a different circumstance of how a player left. It always reminds me of Michael Carrick as well, a local lad who ended up going down to West Ham and then obviously going on to do what he did. But I think the difference between back then and now is that we are and will be in a position to bring these lads back, even if they've slipped through the net or we had to sell them for PSR. It'd be interesting to see. But I think we should be keeping an eye on this whole Nottingham Forest, Ange Postecoglou, Edu, fucking Marianakis, whatever his name is. They're a mess. And you know, this time last season, they were talking about Champions League, and now they're all straight back talking about relegation. And long may it last from a Newcastle United perspective. Absolutely. Right, let's move on. And I suppose sticking with, we were talking about random names there, but talking about club governance, how clubs are run. I'd like to think that we're getting back, Alan, towards being a bit better run, or at least putting the right steps in place. As of this week, well, as of the last kind of week or so, we've now filled, I think it's our third kind of big role in terms of behind the scenes, upper level, executive, whatever. Having brought in David Hopkinson as our CEO, COO, whichever acronym you want to use.
I don't know what he is. He does something.
Yeah. And then we brought in your man who's got a very difficult name to pronounce as a kind of an analyst, head of analytics or whatever it might be. But the latest one is we're finally looking at what potentially, hopefully, might be our future state from a sporting director in Ross Wilson from Rangers. Is that correct? Sorry, Forest.
No, Forest. Formerly of Rangers, formerly of Huddersfield, formerly of Wigan. Yeah, so it's a bit of an odd one. So lads I know from another Newcastle group that I'm in, Ryan, talking to you, we had a bit of a ding-dong about this appointment earlier in the week. I personally think good appointment, give him the benefit of the doubt, give him time to get his job. He is hated at Rangers, but Rangers are in an absolute mess, and like there's nothing good can come out of that club. He also didn't do very well at Huddersfield, but Huddersfield were free falling from the Premier League into League One when he was appointed. They had just been relegated from the Prem and they were in absolute free fall. He had one decent job where he had 3 decent seasons at Forest, and he done very, very well at Forest. And since Edu came in, the Forest signings have gone a bit skew ways, shall we say, and haven't exactly worked out the way Wilson liked them, and he's now our man. The way I'd ask you to base your judgment on Wilson is He got 26 million euro out of us for Odysseus Vlachodimos. And then he bought Elliot Anderson for 32.5 million euro or 32.5 million pound. He absolutely robbed us blind and played a blinder. And that's what we want out of our director of football or whatever he's come in to do. I don't know what title they've given him, but that's what we need. We need a ruthless bastard who's going to come in and go, this is what he's worth. This is what we're giving you. Take it or leave it. He done it to us, and Newcastle went, here, this guy's a bollocks, but we like him. Let's get him in. And we did. I really do think he's going to be a good appointment. I think he's going to... Is it Edwards at Liverpool? Michael Edwards.
Michael Edwards, yeah.
We hate Liverpool. We hate everything. He is the pinnacle man for buying and selling players. They are unbelievable at getting £30 million for absolute dross. That's what we need. I think Ross Wilson is going to be a very, very good appointment for us, personally.
Good, nice and positive, yeah. I mean, Joe Willock is the first guy out the door, and let's hope we can get 15, 18 million.
No, cancel his contract. If he wants to leave tomorrow, sell him. Goodbye. See you later. Stop taking a wage off my club. You've offered nothing for 18 months. I'm sorry, he's not even playing.
I'll tell you what, I just off the point that we just talked about Anderson coming back from Notts Forest, isn't it delightful that we got the sporting director from Nottingham Forest that maybe could go back and do the same negotiation he did against us to get Anderson back to Newcastle? There would be a bloody coup for the guy in his first couple of months of the job. I mean, he'd be a bloody hero for getting Anderson back back to Newcastle. So maybe they could do something there. It looks like what's that guy's Greek goalkeeper you just mentioned?
Odysseus Vlachodimos.
Looks like he's gonna get a full-time contract at Seville. He's playing very well.
He played for them. Apparently played quite well when they beat Did they beat Barcelona 4-1?
Yeah, 4-1. Yeah,
and apparently played quite well. But again, look, that's like one game.
Yeah, but hang on, Sevilla have no money. They can't register. The 2 weeks before the season started, they had 4 senior players. 4. Wow, and they had to bring everyone in on loan and stuff like that. They're not going to be able to offer the money that we're going to require. Like, I think we still need to get like 14 million euro for Vlachodimos, which he's just not worth. Like, he will go on a loan again next year, and then he'll be sold the year after for 8 million, 10 million quid, if you can get that for him.
Just while we're on goalkeepers, can we just have a quick shout out for Dubravka and how well he's done at Burnley?
No.
Good man, Dubs. I think he's done really well, though.
He's done really well.
Under former Newcastle United legend Scott Parker, if you will. We're everywhere, lads. We're just everywhere. Yeah, look, I think the important thing about the Wilson appointment is that the connection with Eddie Howe here, obviously that didn't work with David Mitchell Webb, if you will. No, Paul Mitchell, Phil Mitchell, Grant, whatever. I think it's important that the two of them get on. I hope there's a lot less ego from Wilson's perspective, and he's a bit more of a, let's say, a humbler kind of a rise through his career. And I think the one thing we didn't mention, he was at Southampton during a kind of a pretty big period of time for Southampton. Like, you're looking back, it was around the time they would have sold the likes of Van Dijk and Mane for about 120 million, all to Liverpool, who never spent any money. The poor devils. And like Southampton were pretty good at that point, and obviously they're one of the most famous teams you'll see in terms of what could have been if they kept all their players. If you made an 11 of former Southampton players, they'd be this elite force. So again, that's all positive as well in terms of recruitment. So fingers crossed. But like to Alan's point, I wouldn't make me in a hurry to judge too soon either. Let's let the thing happen, because we've been topsy-turvy for long enough as well. So time shall tell. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris, are you willing to wait? Are you willing to give Ross Wilson the benefit of the doubt? Because he needs your ceiling.
He got Anderson, Elanga, Milenkovic, and Callum Hudson-Odoi in the space of like 4 months. I mean, that's pretty.
He was a bit
good track record
when he was just sporting director at
and that Milenkovic deal, I think he got him for like 14 million quid or something like that. Everyone was like, and he's a 60-70 million pound defender now. Unreal.
He's done well.
Okay. Yeah.
There you have it. That's time will tell. But again, as we said, we need to see a bit more solidity at board level from a management perspective, and obviously Eddie Howe continuing to have the influence that he has, but with people who are working with him and not seemingly against him, at least from our perspective. Rightio, let's crack on, because as of right now, we're still a few days before the international break wraps up. By the time this podcast is out, Ireland will probably have already played, and God only knows what will have happened.
Lost to Armenia again because we're shy.
We're not even going to do it to ourselves, lads. Shout out to Queven Kelleher saving penalties against Mbappe, Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, all in the space of like a year or two. We'll take that. But,
not bad.
I don't really want to talk too much about Ireland. It's just too depressing.
Yeah.
Let's stick with Newcastle, because in a few days' time we are back to Premier League matters. And wouldn't you know it, it's a team, one of those teams where we have interesting record against. I feel like there's too many of these teams in the Premier League where we have mixed records against them.
Yeah. And
this is a team that, of course, will have a former Newcastle United player in the squad who has already scored against us since he moved, which, of course, was Yankuba Minteh. Alan, how do you feel about our chances? We're going away to Brighton this weekend. It's not somewhere we love being. The last time we played them, was it a 1-1 just towards the end of the season?
Yeah.
That was when we were in Galway, actually, I believe.
Yes, it was.
For an away
so, just to put into perspective our record at the Amex, in the Premier League, we played there 8 times. We have 3 draws and 5 losses. The last time we won there was with Mo Diame's absolutely world-class scooped little
the accidental goal?
He didn't accidentally score that. He meant that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he meant that. Come on.
He did.
Yeah, so that was the last time we won at the Amex. It's not a place we do very well at. It's not a place we don't win there. So look, as they always say, these things need to change. And this is the time I think it's going to change, because we always tend to come back from an international break with a bit of a rocket up our arse, and I think we're going to have it again. I think we're going to do well.
Yeah, I mean, they have the same points, 1-2, drawn 3, lost 2, same as Newcastle. We had a good win going into the international break. The lads seem to be doing well on the international break to come back with a bit of a bump in their step. Look, again, sometimes we don't get decisions down there, but look at it. Big Dan Burns playing. Anything can happen.
With his broken hand as well, let's not forget. Didn't he break his hand and he doesn't even know when he did it?
Yeah, no.
Look, I think this time we might have a good shot of either sneaking a sexy win, call it sexy if you want, or just getting out of there with a draw. You know, really hard fought, well disciplined, good tactics. Just get a draw and get out of there. But again, Minteh coming back and haunting us. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, he could. And this comes down to, when we talk about selection, and selection's always hard to talk about after an international break when there's been a gap, because we're going to be back like this whole Lewis Hall, this absenteeism of Lewis Hall, which kind of drove a lot of us into a panic against Forest. You might normally say if Minteh's on the right, well, Lewis Hall could match him for pace. In the last couple of games, Dan Burn has been at left back. Alan, would you fear Minteh coming up against Dan Burn, even though he did well against Saka and he's showing himself able to deal with these kind of players?
Saka isn't lightning quick. Saka will beat you with technique. He'll beat you by dropping the shoulder. Minteh will just push the ball by you, and then Dan Burn gets fouled. I revert back to this every single time I talk about Dan Burn at left back. I was at the Luton game when Chiedozie Ekpene absolutely tore Dan Burn asunder. And I said after 2 minutes, turned to Dean and I was like, Dan Burn needs to be hooked immediately, or he's going to either be sent off or torn asunder all game. And Geordie turned around and he's like, Dan Burn's going to do this. And all of a sudden, Ekpene pushed the ball by him and roasted him. And the Geordie turned around and he's like, I think you might be right here. He's just left him. He's dusted him. Technical players Dan Burn does very well against. When it comes to one-on-one, out straight pace, he hasn't a hope in hell, and that's what Minteh is at the minute.
Does the fact that in training he probably comes up against Elanga and Murphy a lot make you feel any different in terms of if Eddie Howe's watching him against these lads? Are these lads running rings around him in training, therefore Eddie Howe won't pick him, or is he doing well enough against Elanga and Murphy in training that Eddie Howe must be saying, well, yeah, he can handle it?
I honestly don't think it matters, because unless you're pushing Trippier out to left back and maybe try and Chow at right back, or going 3 at the back with Murphy as a wing back and Trippier at left back, you're having to make too many changes instead of just going, okay, we have someone who can play at left back. Our other choice is Alex Murphy, and as Irishmen, we all love it. If I seen Alex Murphy starting a game, I'd be very fucking worried at the moment. He is not a Premier League standard defender, and we just need to deal with it. Dan Burn will start. Dan Burn will have a few very, very iffy moments against several very quick Brighton attackers. Let's be honest about it.
It's a tough one, Krisho. And I mean, look, I think that almost every podcast we do, we're going to have these like tricky selection, guessing what's Eddie Howe going to do, what would we like to see, dilemmas. And ultimately, he often ends up just doing what he would have done a year or 2 years ago. And a lot of the time it works. Sometimes it's who are we to question it. But yeah, with those selection dilemmas, I mean, the other thing I've been thinking about a lot is there's talks that Ramsey will be back for this game. Unlikely to start, obviously. But you never know with Eddie Howe. I still don't know what's going on with Wissa, actually, lads. Let's just pause for a moment. Does anybody have a clue what the fuck is going on with Johan Wissa? Because I have heard every...
I think that people had thought that he was going to be coming back like this week and running on grass and this, that, and the other. I think somebody somewhere got it wrong, or they've assessed it a second or third or fourth time and realized it's actually going to be just a little bit longer. Also, let's get rid of the nonsense about the £6.5–7 million. That's a lot of nonsense.
That's not. That's 100% true.
No, they're not. No,
you have to pay it.
No,
international.
No. They're only paying his wages.
I love when you get on well on the podcast. Two best friends.
They're only paying his wages, and that was. It's only a month, like what, from last week or a week and a half ago up until when he's going to be coming back. So it's only going to be about 700,000, 800,000 pounds.
They have to pay the compensation. This is what happened when Michael Owen got injured for England. They have to give us £13.5 million. This is it's nothing to do with anyone but FIFA. FIFA have this rule.
I know they do. I'm just saying
they have to pay the wages and pay for the loss that the club have incurred, and the club have incurred around a £6.5 million loss by having to do this. That's why it happens. Like that's £6.5 million is happening. End of story.
Well, talk about like, okay then. Well, look, it's showing the receipt. Yeah.
Just on Wissa, this is another one. I actually have a £20 bet. Now, the bet is not for me to get money or Ollie to get money. It's for the food bank. Ollie says Wissa's season is over. I said Wissa will play before Christmas. I firmly believe Wissa's knee injury was due to keep him out until in between the October and November international breaks. I think the club went, we don't think you're going to be fit for between that break. We're going to give you until after the next international break and just give you the extra couple of weeks off. He'll come back from that November international break. He will not go away. He will stay at Newcastle and he will come back fit, firing and ready to go. And it's such a cliche because he is a new signing, but it'll be like a new signing.
Well, it's a player who hasn't played for the club yet. He's always going to be a new signing, even if he's been there a year. You know, Tonali was probably a little loose one, but he played so little first before he came back. Krisho, do you agree with Mystic Alan?
No, I think I'm very underwhelmed by the whole Wissa situation completely. I don't think he's going to be a good player for us. I think when he comes back, he's going to be half the player he was at Brentford. He's going to get a couple of games. He's going to be like a new kind of shiny-faced Wilson. It's going to be I'm afraid it's going to be a bit of a flop purchase. And we're going to have to look for something more in January or at the end of the season because it's not going to work out. I think what he's done to his knee is not as innocuous as it's been reported. And I think that it's going to affect how he plays football. So, why not? Yeah.
Lads, you make my job so easy because I don't even have to pitch you against each other. You just do it by yourselves. Right, let me ask you one more then, just to land on some neutral ground here. Does it alarm you as much as it alarms me that it's so unclear about Wissa that like we've had nothing from the club or the player about what's going on? Does that at least alarm both of you in terms of the
uncertainty? That's why I said what I said, because I'm just a little bit concerned about like I know that Al, they want to be cautious about how they report on injuries. They've done it before where they've rushed Botman back, for God's sake, they nearly ruined his fucking career. But this was the thing. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark. There's something smelly about this. There's something odd about it. Maybe it's the injury is a lot worse than they think it is, or either, like Al said, they're playing a bit of a game. They're giving him some time, and then he's going to come back bouncing Brentford style and be classic Wissa. I've got an awful feeling it's the former. That actually he's really bloody hurt himself. He's had a tough couple of seasons at Brentford, and now he's gone to some third-rate bloody stony pitch in the Congo, and he's fallen over, and he's really damaged. But the thing is, though, if it was a big ACL thing, they just would have come out and said it, right? They would have just said he's blown his ACL. He's out for a year.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what happened here. The club went. The last time we had a player with an iffy knee injury, we sent him to a specialist, and the specialist said, he's all right. He wasn't all right. They sent him to a second specialist, and they went, he needs a knee operation, and that was Sven Botman. Sven Botman got his knee operation, and the man looks like a Rolls Royce this season. I think Wissa came back with a knee injury. They sent him to a specialist, and the specialist went, he looks all right. And the club went, we've been here before. Let's be ultra, ultra careful on this and go for a second opinion. And the second opinion also said, yeah, listen, he's all right. I give him a couple of weeks out. And I think the club might have even said, okay, the two doctors have said give him 8 weeks out. That brings us to in between the October and November international breaks. We as a club are going to say 10 to 12 weeks and come back after that international break fully fit and firing. The club would, if he done an ACL injury, we'd be bringing the Congo in for the full season's worth of injury money. And that would be an awful lot of money.
A lot more. Yeah.
An awful lot more. So, and also, if he was out for the rest of the season, Eddie Howe would come out and use it because he'd be able to say, well, look, I lost my first choice striker that I was planning to play all season, and this is why I'm not getting the results I'm getting. It's a ready-made excuse. So why wouldn't, if it was a reason to have, why wouldn't you roll it out?
So what you're saying, basically, this is what I'm taking when I look at the calendar as you're speaking through the expected timeline events, is that we're going to continue just staying silent, not really knowing, and then more rumors will break that he's out for the season. And then we're going to go to Sunderland on the 13th of December, away in the Stadium of Light, and he's going to score a hat-trick, and it'd be the new Mackham Slayer, Johan Wissa.
That's exactly it.
I mean, this has Jason Tyndall. Jason Tyndall is written all over this in terms of a strategy. And you know what, lads? I'm all for it. Fuck it, I'll take it. Right, let's get some predictions. So, lads, around the house for Brighton versus Newcastle. Alan, I'm going to start with you first.
1-0 win. We're getting a win.
For Newcastle.
For Newcastle, yes.
I like it. I like it a lot. Chriso, do you share the positivity for a game that we a stadium that we haven't won in for quite some time?
No, screw Al. No. And I'm not going to be doing it right up to Christmas. I'm going to disagree with Al all the way till Christmas until he gets me a nicer Christmas present than last year. No, 2-2. And we're going to get a bit of a, call it sexy, if you will, penalty in the 87th minute. And Voltamata is going to do another very unusual penalty and score. Just as I'm saying that, are we going to sell Willisula or put him out on loan in January? Let's talk about that in a minute. But 2-2.
2-2, says Chris Shaw. I was thinking of a 2-2 myself. I do think that they're quite well organised, but for the sake of variety, I'll go with a 1-1. I still have faith in our defence, but they've got some players, particularly, your Matomas. I mean, Jesus, throw Welbeck on for 3 minutes, he'll probably score against us because that's what he does. So I could picture something like a 1-1. We've had lads travelling who've been playing well, but again, just the way football is at the moment, all the travelling, all the intensity. I just think it might take us a little while to get going again. It was taking us a while before the international break, so why wouldn't it take us a while after? So I'd go the 1-1, but I'd probably take it as well in, as Alan pointed out, a stadium that we just don't have a great record in.
Look, could we just agree just really quickly, just between all of us, maybe Al won't agree. Don't Al, actually. But wasn't the first half against Nosfar super poor?
Yes.
Let's just call it a spade here.
Shite. We were absolutely
right, okay.
We were the better side of an absolutely terrible game. is the easiest way to explain that.
Right. And I think that's what you're kind of alluding to, Paul, is that like we weren't really out of the blocks there against Forest. Okay, we got 2 goals. We did smash them a little bit in the second half. God, it could have been 4-0. But I've got an awful feeling like that we got to have a proper bounce after this international break. But I've got an awful feeling we're going to get off slow again. Trying to figure out, obviously, our new formation with our new players. It's going to, and Brighton are swift on the counter. So, and they've got good quality. So I'd just be a little bit worried. But I do think that they will score, but we will, match them hopefully right up to the final whistle. Yeah.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, we are still. I think we're still gelling, which is a weird thing to say because we're in the middle of October. But thankfully, we've had a striker come in and kind of hit the ground running, scoring a lot of goals with his head, obviously, and some great penalties. But at the same time, it's really encouraging to see where he is. I saw it was a tweet or a graphic earlier, basically showing new strikers in the Premier League in terms of goals and games, and it was like Sesko has scored once or twice in 7 games. Gyökeres 2 or 3 times in 7 games. Ekitike, I think, was 3 in 6 or 7. Isak obviously hasn't done a whole lot. Multimati has 3 and 4 or 3 and 5 or something. So
3 and 5. Yeah.
It's positive is where I would say for where we are, because I think we can get so much better, and I think Newcastle are only at about 60% of where we could be this season.
Yeah,
and it's not ideally where you want to be, but it's not the worst thing in the world when you think about how many games and how much football there is left to play. We shall see. Right. We obviously have Benfica then around the corner. I'm buzzing because I'll be going to that game. We might not be back from a podcast perspective until after Benfica. So it's Benfica at home, back in the Champions League. The big one here, I suppose, Alan, Jose Mourinho, manager of Benfica. So that obviously it usually brings a bit of fireworks, but he's kind of mellowed out into this kind of cheerful, put me on
old
a podcast when I'm done, kind of an old man, hugging everyone. But he does have the tendency to go mental every now and again. Just from a return to Champions League football perspective, from a fact that we go to Benfica on the Tuesday, so Brighton on Saturday, Benfica on Tuesday.
Yeah.
What does I suppose we won't even do predictions because I don't like looking too far like Eddie Howe, but from a tactical perspective, do you think Eddie Howe just doesn't think about Benfica and he's like, we just got to go and play Brighton, or does he hold back something for Benfica?
No, he goes with what we have for Brighton, but I reckon we see Schär come back into the squad and Ramsey start against Benfica.
In a 3 midfield?
Yeah.
So take Joelinton won't be playing?
No.
Interesting.
It will be interesting. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm similar. I'm thinking he probably just goes hard against Brighton. He'll go with everything he has, knowing that he has options and depth. And depending on, I think he'll react to injuries or fatigue as needed. But I think he's going to go in hard against Brighton.
I think Murphy plays against Brighton instead of Alanga.
It would make sense. Looking at what he's done before.
And then Alanga starts in the Champions League because he was man of the match in the last Champions League game. Yep, 100% makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're back to being friends again. We've gone full circle, people.
Yeah.
We will be having meetups for both of those games. There'll be images on the screen now, but just to quickly touch on the locations, Alan. So we're looking at a couple of places for Brighton is Dublin in the Bleaker.
Yes.
But then for Benfica, I think that we have more than one meetup happening, if I'm not wrong, while I stall for Alan to get it on the screen in front of him.
I can't because my phone isn't working.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we will be having meetups.
Yes.
We'll have them up on screen. So keep your eyes peeled. But I believe we're looking at Sligo and
Sligo. Yeah, I think it's Sligo. Yeah, it is Sligo, isn't it? It is Sligo. I have it here. It's my WhatsApp. I have it on my phone. So yes, we are in Sligo.
Doing the Lord's work down in Sligo.
Yes.
Shout out to Chris Regan and Paul Clark and all the boys down in Sligo. Doing the Lord's work. We might see you for the away day, as we mentioned, in November.
If I'm allowed.
Right, we're just about to wrap up the podcast. But before we do, just when everyone's getting on, I believe Alan has a quiz question that will ruin everything once again.
Yes, it's not a quiz question. I want to see if you can tell me who this player is. I'm going to read out a list of teams.
Chris Waddle.
Obviously, Newcastle included. No, you were close.
No.
But I want to see if you can tell me who it is. So this man started his career at Lille, then moved to Auxerre, then moved to Nantes, then moved to Lens, then moved to Manchester City, then moved to Newcastle United.
Sibierski.
Good man. What a shout. I'll give you that.
It's unbelievable. What?
Antoine Sibierski.
Great shout. I'll give you that. 10 out of 10. What a shout.
I was ready to roar boom song until you moved on from Auxerre onto Nantes, and I was like, no, because he left Auxerre and went to Rangers.
You Champions League, you Champions Manager nerds, football manager
that's
nerds.
exactly what that is.
Okay, give us another one, Al. You must have another one, right?
I do actually have one more, but this one's actually a bit mad because he's a load of loan moves.
Oh, I'll get it. Chris Waddle.
Right.
No.
Cambridge United, Hamilton Wanderers. I had no idea.
There's Hamilton.
No. Waiakato. Don't know. West Brom. He had about 10 loan moves at West Brom. Then went to Leicester City. Then went to Leeds United. Then went to Burnley. Then went to Newcastle United. And then went to Nottingham Forest.
Holy crap. Give us a time period.
Can you give me the last four, like prior to Burnley? What was it?
So before Burnley, it was West Brom and then a load of loan moves. Leicester, Leeds, Burnley, Newcastle, Forest.
It sounds very Perch-esque, but it's not.
It's not. The Waikato team.
I think that's in New Zealand.
That should give it away. Then it is. It is.
What's
New Zealand.
his name? What was that chap's name? Curtis Good?
No.
Curtis
He was Australian. No, Curtis Good was Australian.
Curtis Good.
I can't believe you haven't got the man that.
It's Chris Wood.
Left. It's Chris Wood.
Chris Wood. Oh yeah,
it's Chris Wood. Yeah, so that's who the two players I had.
Oh jeez, how we should have got that quicker. Fucking hell, we let ourselves down
there.
Damn. So there you go.
Chris Wood. Well, we were two planks in that situation, weren't we, Chris? Heyo. Right. Well, that brings episode 96 of the Irish Mag Show to a close for this week. Check out theirishmags.com for all the latest updates, all the latest images from meetups and Irish Mags on tour, away days, etc. And of course, follow us on all the socials. We are on the race to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube with episode 100, not too far away, just a few weeks away. And I can confirm, with a little bit of spoilers, but not much, we will have a very special guest joining us for episode 100 of the Irish Mags Show. So keep your eyes.
It's me.
Oh, that's a different type of special, and there's not enough time
I think we should look back also. I think we should share at our 100th episode the first. If you look back now, anyone who wants to do it later on, depends if you've got time in your hands, but look back on the
up your highlights.
First 5 minutes of episode 1.
I can tell you now, I'm not going to do a highlights package because it'll just take way too long.
Yeah, no.
If anybody wants to volunteer for that, they can. But yeah, pretty big achievement. 100 episodes over 2 years, and we still haven't been cancelled. So onwards and upwards. Thank you, Alan and Krisho, for joining me again this week. Thank you everyone, for watching and listening wherever you are tuning in. We'll be back for more Irish Magnus next week. So until then, how are the lads? Slán go fóill, and we'll see you all very soon.
Slán a bhaile.
Good luck.